Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, Tony Khan buys Ring of Honor, the road to AEW's Revolution pay-per-view that is this weekend. Edge turns heel. Finn Balor wins the U.S. title. Damian Priest turns heel. The New Japan Cup. Your Revolution predictions, that and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast.
Yeah, just another slow week of wrestling.
Jesus Christ, it's just like every week. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Boo Diamond Phillips. And sitting to my left, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Good shit. He said Boo Diamond Phillips. That's great, man. Shit, I don't know where he comes up with this. I wish I had a creative mind like this. And on that lovely note, allow me to ask the congregation to bow their heads while I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 243, chapter 3, verse 14, in the good smart saying, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. The holy trinity of BFR. Another slow week of wrestling my ass. We got a whole bunch of shit to talk about. Boss say we got to keep this shit under 2 hours, so we going to keep this shit moving right along.
And out there in Portland, Oregon, we have Zero Beer, Zach Pullman. What's going on, T-Beer?
Not much. That really stand and delivered. Anyway, yeah, happy to be back on the pod. Little maybe more bodacious, little less loquacious this week. You know, I was listening to the one previously. Yeah, Jason and I was just banged up, just monologuing, and I had a good time last week listening to the pod. Whatever, I missed it, so it was a good time. So thanks for holding it down.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you weren't annoying me a couple of weeks ago. It's just, you know, we've done, how many of these have we done?
246.
I mean, I can tell the difference between a Zero Beer Zach and a multi-beer Zach. That's all. That's all I was saying.
Apparently, so funny story, I was like outside and I was like walking around the neighborhood, and my sister-in-law lives a couple blocks from me, like heard me like walking past their house, like trying to get my attention. But she said I was just like in the zone, just loudly proclaiming whatever it was, like for the neighborhood. As I walked up to the old convenience store to grab a tall boy and cigarettes while you guys were on mute.
You were doing the podcast while you were walking to the convenience store?
Yeah.
God, that's some pro shit.
I would have never known if you would
Pro
say
shit, man. I didn't know that either.
I'd be like, yeah, can I have a pack of Newport 100s, please?
This is the first time that Jason and I are in the same room, or the same spot for at least a few weeks, I would say.
I would think.
It's nice out here.
It is
St.
nice.
Charles. It's going to get a little colder, but it's been really nice out the last few days. This is one of the chillier days. I think it's probably like 60 right now, maybe
It's like
a little
50s
under.
or something like that, but I was going to say it was like 70 the last couple of days. I'm like, dude, just pick a temperature. I don't care which one it is. Just pick one and stick to it.
But that means it's a perfect day for podcasting. So without further ado, let's get to that. 3 counts.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, kick it off.
Well, I thought we were going to start with something entirely different, but Tony Khan decides he has other plans. The opening announcement on Dynamite, much speculation. I had no idea, really. I really wasn't sure what this was going to be and was just open to any idea. But Tony Khan throws me a bit of a curveball. Didn't see this coming, and he announces that he is buying Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is obviously the promotion that was closed its doors late in 2021. The Sinclair Broadcasting Company actually owned it at that point, and then closed its doors. A lot of its talents have been kind of in many different promotions. A good chunk of them are in Impact Wrestling under the faction of Honor No More. I guess you can say it's led by Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, for lack of a better name, but neither here nor there. Jonathan Gresham has been carrying the ROH championship and defending it here and there. So Ring of Honor was always kind of staying around, but you didn't know what the long-term future was, but now we kind of know. So I did a little digging about at least some of the money terms behind it. ROH was bought for roughly about $30 or $40 million, according to WrestleFest. Seems like a decent-sized number, a little large. I guess a good chunk of that is going to be for the library of ROH. I think that's the gold mine of this bad boy. Now, if you kind of want to spin off of that, maybe this is AEW's long-term streaming service, because that has always been a thing that has been rumored to be something on the horizon, so to speak. For me personally, the way I looked at it when he first initially said it, I went to my personal favorite wrestling promotion, that's New Japan, and I immediately thought of Ring of Honor New Japan Supercard. They did one a couple years ago, which had a lot of mixed reviews. I shouldn't even say that. It was good when it wasn't ROH. I guess that was the underlying tone of that Supercard. My hope is that they do it again, but I did also see that Ring of Honor would be more of a developmental type of brand. Think like NXT, if you will. So at that point, that gave me pause for the cause. Not saying that this is going to be a long-term thing. Maybe they'll mix in some veterans into this Ring of Honor developmental brand if that's the way they want to go. My hope is no, just because AEW has so much talent, and this would be a golden opportunity to really start spreading that talent around on two brands, get ROH a TV deal, but that's neither here nor there. I'll pass the mic along on that note and just say this. I'm glad that Ring of Honor is back. I just hope that Tony Khan doesn't try to do too much with two brands. He's doing a lot with one. A second one might really start to get crazy.
Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this was super cool, very historic. We're going to be talking about this for many years to come, like no matter what happens. I don't think it's going to be a second brand at all. And Tony Khan just seems like a smart dude, obviously. Does a good job with AEW and has grown it to the number 2 promotion in the country and really kind of given us the best wrestling competition we've had in, more than 20 years. So I don't see him doing a separate brand. I really see this as leveraging for streaming, like just having the video library. I mean, because if you just think about it, ROH as a brand is essentially worthless. I mean, we all have nostalgic feelings about it because they had some great wrestling. But if ROH was open and not closed, they'd be like, number 6, number 7 promotion in the country? Like, they're under GCW at this point. GCW is drawing better and outselling shows compared to what ROH has done in the past few years, even whenever they were open. So it's essentially worthless. Like, you're not going to promote like an ROH show, at least in my opinion. But what you can do is you can use that to leverage a streaming company like HBO Max, which is in the Warner Media family, to essentially offer you a Peacock type deal like WWE has and say, yo, we have 23 years of content, right? Because they only had 3 years of content with AEW. Now they have that story to tell where they own the rights to the All In show that essentially spawned this company. They have 20 plus years of streaming that they can sell maybe along with their pay-per-views or maybe just along with a few live shows or whatever to a streaming service and really kind of get in that game and take their company to the next level. Because, I mean, that's why WWE is idiot-proof, because they have all these TV rights and streaming money. But I don't know how much they got it for. They might have got it for a song, and Claire's hurting right now because they did this whole regional sports network thing, which did not pan out for them at all. So, unfortunately, ROH was in bad times, closed its doors. And it is interesting because, I mean, they have the intellectual properties, they got the branding, they have the tape library, but, like, there are no wrestlers that come with this because ROH had already dissolved all the contracts, essentially, like, everybody was going to be independent. So it's not like a WCW situation where it's automatic that these guys are coming in because they either buy out their contracts or they get rid of him, or they don't feature him or they bring him in. It would be cool to see a Jonathan Gresham and such, and the Briscoes and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's interesting. This is going to be something that I'm sure we'll be talking about in the weeks to come. But I am very hopeful that my already worthwhile HBO Max subscription has just increased in value because my fucking meager 401k is not. Thanks, Russia.
That poutine strikes again.
I appreciate you guys going first on this, and you guys, we're not journalists, but you guys kind of giving the journalistic view of, what this means for the wrestling industry as a whole and what it means for Ring of Honor, what it means for the libraries of content that they have. Certainly nobody was thinking about content the way that it's consumed now when ROH was putting up, killer pay-per-views back in 2005, 2006 and the like. That was a very sober assessment of Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor. Now let's have some fun.
Go ahead, grab the pencil. I know you've been chomping at the bit. Go
Invasion
ahead.
angle. Cody's in charge. Cody leads ROH into AEW and starts fucking everybody up.
Cody's gone, man. He ain't coming back.
Now you're getting worked. You fucking
There's
Mark.
human excrement everywhere.
You fucking Marks have been getting worked the entire time. Cody's in charge of this thing.
Dude, if he came out, I would be literally out. That's the mark out moment of the year. If he comes out and this is a whole work and he takes over ROH and it works like that, I will tip my hat. I can say nothing. Nothing could top it at this point.
He lets WWE think that he's going to sign with them right before WrestleMania. And then he just pulls the rug out from under him. He's like, fuck that. We're doing an invasion angle.
I'm pulling a Rick Rude. I'm going to be on both shows.
We're doing it better than you guys ever could.
Shit.
Hopefully it does show up on HBO Max. One of the worst user interface of all the apps, but that's neither here nor there. I would like to have the library. Like Zach said, the one thing that AEW will never have over WWE is longevity, is the history. And if they buy the ROH library, that gives them at least some semblance of that history that they don't have at all. I wonder if he ever thought about buying NWA, because NWA's got tons of history, or if he thinks that for his crowd full of basically millennial marks, that his crowd, that the ROH library is actually worth more than the NWA library. And if he make that assessment, I might actually agree with it.
Vince owns all the good NWA shit, like, the real deal NWA shit. Billy has, like, the names of the, he has, like, the intellectual property and stuff, but Vince has all the old.
Like, if you wanted to look for Flair versus Dusty Rhodes, you'd have to go to Peacock.
Man, so Vince owns all that shit?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, it's all
it's
there
true
right
what Billy
now,
Corgan said. The wild is a vampire.
What the fuck?
I just like doing my Billy Corgan impression every time I can. It's pretty good. Set to drain. Secret destroyers. Hold you up to the flames. All right, sorry.
That is pretty good. I tell you what, this is totally off topic, or at least we're getting, digressing. But I revisited some Smashing Pumpkins recently, and they fucking rip, man. Like, you don't think about because you think about just the shit you hear on the radio, but like they fucking rip.
Oh yeah, they're good.
Great.
They've held up.
I would love to enter in on this topic conversation, but I just can't.
All right, we'll go back to ROH.
No, I just wanted to just chime in because when this came up, I reached out to High Five Tom. To me, he is the local ROH guy. His podcast is all ROH. So this was somebody that I figured that would at least have some sort of opinion about it because obviously this is his promotion. I'll just quote the tweet right now. For obvious selfish reasons, I hope that they don't fuck with Honor Club. If anything, it enhance it because it needs work, and then get some weekly TV and get it some more exposure. People dig the history and count me in. With it being AEW's NXT, let's face facts, it's been an unofficial feeder system for 2 decades. So if you make it official, but then put some money behind it, I'm all in. Last I heard, the world, the tag team, the women's title were all supposed to be intact, but Josh Woods and Rhett Titus were defending the Pure and the television titles. Not sure about the trios titles, but you put that in the AEW and keep the lineage, you got something going.
Man, I mean, that might be a valuable guy to have on the podcast sometime in the near future if we really want to break down some ROH stuff.
No, I told him that we would
what
reach out to
What did he say? He said, last I heard.
Hang on a second.
High Five Tom and Mott Spock are the same dudes, right?
I think so. Last I heard.
The last I heard, the
world is a vampire.
This motherfucker here. I just got dunked on. It's John Moran. It's just like, don't do me like this. No, I'm not going to jump. Fuck that. I'm already on Sports Center.
I'm not sorry about that. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to watch going forward. I'm going to stick with believing that the Cody thing is a work until it's proven to me that it's not a work. So.
Okay, when he wrestled Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, don't say I didn't say so.
Nah, that's just the long game, man. He's just playing the long game.
It is funny. WWE did not respond to this, but they did put out a press release for WrestleMania weekend that they are offering tryouts during WrestleMania season. They are only open to college athletes and then recent college graduates who were athletes, like no indie wrestlers at all. So, I mean, Triple H's vision was put ROH out of business and take all their talent. And they essentially did that, but then AEW did that to NXT. Like, they essentially beat them at their own game and took all their top guys, undisputed, at the fucking pay-per-view. Like, it's kind of like elite, like headlining 2 title matches. It's crazy to think just since we started this podcast, like how much, I mean, the world has changed a lot. There's a lot of turmoil in the world, in the land of wrestling. You know, it was like 20 years of indies and WWE, and now there's all kinds of fucking shit going on. It's wild.
Would you say that the world is a vampire?
All right. I think we covered that one. I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
Definitely title this podcast "The World is a Vampire."
Done.
I hope you guys like jokes getting done into the ground because it's about to happen all podcast. Without further ado, let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
2 count. We can talk about AEW. Tony Khan opens the show, and he bought Ring of Honor.
He's like, Shane's not coming out. Shane's not coming out.
He said, Shane's not coming out.
I'm not cheering, dog. I'm like, this motherfucker, wow.
Segue to Billy Corgan in Joker, Sting, face paint, and the Raptors singing "The World is a Vampire." So he it was kind of apropos, the timing. So it's about 20 years from the anniversary of the first show, and the main event of that first show was Bryan Danielson and Christopher Daniels, who both happen to be signed to AEW. So Christopher Daniels comes out, Bryan Danielson comes out. They have a good match, and Danielson goes over as expected, and Daniels is back. So, he had retired.
Yeah, I thought he was done.
Yeah, he pulled a Terry Funk. So he's back. It wasn't just a one-time thing either. Like, he's actually supposedly legit going to be wrestling again.
SCU was done. We never said anything about
SCU.
Christopher Daniels being done.
I think it was kind of largely assumed that he had retired, though, because we haven't seen him.
No,
but yeah, so anyway, that's the thing that happened, and we can see more Chris Daniels now. Maybe not a bunch of. I mean, he's still head of talent relations, so he's still like in the office and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of cool, you know, nostalgia act. Really went over good with the crowd, and then Danielson says, "Give it up for Christopher Daniels." You know, we always began and ended every match in ROH with a handshake, and he's holding Daniels' hand. I'm like, he's gonna kick him in the face. I'm like, he's 100% kicking him in the face, and he's like, but we're not in ROH. He's like, we're in AEW, and he grabs the other hand and he kicks the fucking head in. And that's why Bryan Danielson is the best.
The best.
So I don't know if you guys have anything to say about that. It just was what it was. It was nostalgia. But it was a good match and fun open to Dynamite. Is it right after this that we had the tag team battle royale?
Hold on.
Yes.
Well, Moxley came out at the end of the Bryan Danielson match also.
Oh, yeah. Moxley cut his promo. Fun tweet from Renee that she's like, shout out to my husband, John, who showed up on TV wearing the same clothes I dropped him off at the airport in. 0 fucks given.
He's heating up.
That's really good.
That's a wife for you, too. I say a dude wouldn't even trip off that. The wife be like, this motherfucker didn't even change.
That's right.
No, I like the match a lot. I love the fact that Danielson stomped out Christopher Daniels after the match. I think that's just, it goes back to the ROH Bryan Danielson, but it's just now 2022, you know, New Year, same BD. I guess my biggest question is, what's going to happen on Sunday, man? Because Moxley keeps talking about there's going to be blood. There's going to be blood. So that allows me to think that somebody is going to have some color in some form or fashion.
Didn't I predict this last week? Didn't I say that Moxley, that they were going to have a very brutal match, and Danielson was going to be getting his ass kicked, and Danielson's going to earn the respect of Moxley, and that's when they're going to do the faction. And then I talked about them being the evolution of it's going to be like, you know, that part in Fight Club where the owner of the club comes down and beats the shit out of Brad Pitt, and then Brad Pitt's like all bloody. He's like, just let us fight here, just let us fight here. I think it's gonna be something like that.
I love that movie. That's a great fucking movie. Outside of that, you know, it was a decent, I guess, promo battle, for lack of a better word. Sting and Darby was the same thing. That was the vignette, well, not the vignette, but the promo after that. I guess with Sting and Darby, I'm more so excited about the Rampage triple threat with Darby, Sammy, and Andrade versus their actual 6-man tag at Revolution. Like I said, for me, that's just the gateway, for lack of a better term, for Jeff Hardy to come in, have Matt kind of, you know, lose his shit in some form or fashion at some point in this match, and then, you know, the Hardy Boys, you know, reunite and, you know, wreak havoc on the indie scene and come back, you know, wreak havoc in AEW as well. Outside of that, like I said, to me, I'm more with this. Just all it did for me was just throw another log on the flame of matches that I'm anticipating for on Sunday. Bryan Danielson Moxley is one of those big ass logs, because I think it has that, I guess, with all these great matches, with title matches, it's a non-title match with two big name guys. It's, like I said, nothing on the line, but it feels like there's a lot on the line. You know what I'm saying, Two-Beer?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's my vote for opening the show. I think that you just start those guys out hot. Kind of like last pay-per-view, it was a Darby and MJF. Just completely almost stole the show. This is going to be a tough pace. Like, I don't want to be Tony Khan. You make yourself this amazing card. I mean, this pay-per-view is going to rule. Like, I'm happily throwing my $50 at this and cannot fucking wait.
Yeah, that was what they say. We're going to Timber Halls on Sunday. I already coughed up my $5 on this one. I say, no, take my shit now.
I ain't got anybody out here. I'm all alone. So, but yeah, no, it's going to be great. But yeah, so we had the tag team battle royale, and you know, not going to go over the minutia of this. You know, these things are what they are. AEW tends to do them a little bit better than most because they kind of insert some storytelling. Generally speaking, things kind of tend to make sense, but it's still a battle royale, and most of them just fucking suck. It's just not the best format. Maybe for casuals, it's pretty fun, but I mean, they're just not that great. But essentially, the outcome is the Young Bucks are going to be in the three-way with Red Dragon and Lucha Express. So that is going to be an absolutely bonkers match that I'm sure nobody's going to want to follow.
Lucha Express, dude. Jurassic Express.
Jurassic Express. Right.
I think he's got his first period. Everybody.
I did. I'm at a beer and a half in now. But it's really, that's the problem. I do that all the time because of Luchasaurus. It's his fault.
Right. Blame the dinosaur.
Yes. But a couple cool things with this. We had, what's his name? Darius Martin, right? Darius Martin coming back after his injury. So, I mean, Dante's really kind of made a name for himself. And I'm sure Darius feels like he has something to prove, especially, like they were brought in by the Young Bucks. They also ended up getting the last spots. Like Darius was the last one in the match, so they gave him some shine there. But that was a highlight. And then Danhausen cursing Evil Uno, a little bit of fun that, just makes sense for a shitty battle royal like this. And I got to give props to Max Caster because that line about Acclaim putting butts in the seats, and I don't know who I forget who he was like talking about, but he said that they were more unpopular than Glenn Jacobs' tweet, and I was like, oh my god!
It's like,
if you are unfamiliar
Shots
with
fired.
that reference, go back and look at Glenn Jacobs' tweets from last week and Adam Page's amazing response to them. So.
Just absolutely bodied by Adam Page. Just absolutely bodied.
I mean, if you think about Kane's origin story in WWE, essentially that he was like burnt to a crisp, like in the Undertaker's family mortuary or whatever, like, and all the fire and brimstone. Like, Kane has made a living getting burnt getting burnt to a crisp, and he's just continuing that in his political career, just getting burnt over and over.
It's also funny that Kane's big thing, I followed him for a long time on Twitter. It's also funny that his big thing lately has been being anti-mask, considering how often
he's wearing the mask all
the
year.
mask has had to do with this storyline.
But when he was unmasked, I was like, what the fuck is this?
The Young Bucks winning this Battle Royal is cool. It sets up what could be just an all-timer match of the year, tag match of the year candidate coming up on Sunday between Jurassic Express, Young Bucks, and Red Dragon.
Proud and Powerful did get a big reaction when they were knocked out. Lots of boos.
Motherfucker.
Which I imagine they will be the next challengers for whoever this is. But if you're booking a pay-per-view, these are the teams. If Jurassic Express is the champion, this is the card that you want.
If there's somebody next to you and they don't watch wrestling and you're like, watch this, okay? This is going to be fun. Because really, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly are the ground-based guys in that match. That match is going to be nuts, I think. What's the deal with LAX coming up to Jericho during Jericho's promo? By the way, do you think Jericho listens to this podcast, or do you think because that guy dropped a bunch of weight, just a bunch of weight?
Yeah, I was about to say, this motherfucker Bill talking shit.
It makes me think that like maybe it was all just booze weight, and maybe he just stopped drinking for a couple weeks because he looks like he lost a lot of weight.
No, I said it. When I stopped really drinking heavily, you could see it in my face, and people said it, have you lost weight? You stopped eating. I'm like, nah, my best friend moved to Philadelphia, so we don't drink 4 days, out of the week.
But what's with LAX coming up to Jericho and saying, I always got your back?
I moved to Portland, not Philadelphia, but anyway.
Go ahead, Jabir. I was going to say, what do you think it's about? I got my thought on it.
I think that they are. I mean, we got this inner circle split, especially with Sammy. Like, he's kind of aligning himself with Darby and Sting and stuff. He's like kind of out there in the ether. But I think Jericho got sick. Remember, he's in the hospital, currently non-COVID. Like, he had to cancel a couple dates on his tour. So I think he just got sick and lost some weight, which, I mean, I don't want COVID. Fucking sign me up for some mono or something.
Oh, hold up now. Man.
I don't know.
Maybe,
if I could just
maybe a tapeworm.
Yeah, maybe a tapeworm. Maybe just like a 2-week coma. I don't know, where I could just re-up with like a snooze button.
God, 2-week coma sounds fucking great, man. Just really nice. I just want to sleep.
Yeah, if I could just like kill myself for like a month.
Dude, I wake up at 4 in the morning every day to give the kid a bottle. I need sleep.
Wow. I'm gonna go with what's the word I'm looking for? Disappointed.
For those of you out there without kids, let me just say it. Don't do it. I mean, that joy that I get from her looking in my eyes and smiling and just having a great time with Dad, it is not worth the not sleep, okay? Just don't do it.
Eric pops out of the...
You could just...
What you say?
Have the kid and then bail, and like, what's worse, one awkward conversation like 10 years later, or
like Uncle Baby Billy
of waking up in the middle of the night?
You said Uncle Baby
Billy from Righteous Gemstones talking to Macaulay Culkin. He just had to have that one conversation. Let the kid punch you in the face one time.
I'm dead, dude. I love that fucking show. It's a great show.
Uncle Baby. Walton Goggins is our greatest actor. Okay. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah. Moving on. We had the CM Punk MJF segment. So CM Punk comes out for a promo to address MJF's sterling promo from last week. It wasn't last week.
It was last week.
Fly by. But absolutely fucking amazing promo. I didn't get to talk about it last week. I will remember this promo for the rest of my life. It's my promo of the year currently. I don't know if anything can beat it, but spoiler alert for the fucking 2022 beefers. This is what it is. And they told a great story. Like, they do the hug, and of course MJF is a total bastard. And the cool thing, though, that I want to point out is, even though MJF kind of, they'll say like he showed his true colors or whatever, or, he's back on his heel shit, he did not disavow anything that he said. He's just still a dick. Like, he humanized himself, and he let people think that he was, that it was just masterful heel work, where he brought a side of vulnerability to his character. But at the same time, he's still the asshole that we all know him to be, and that is not changing. So even though he has that vulnerable aspect, and he has this aspect of his character where you feel sympathy for him and you can relate to him, he's still dastardly, but he did not disavow anything that he already said. So all of these things are true, and that makes a very complex character, and that is what I like in literature, is what I like in everything, is complex characters. And he's a complex character, but he's still a fucking asshole, and he kicks CM Punk in the balls, busts him open with his ring, and dude, that was a lot of blood. I don't know if they meant to have that much blood, but it was a lot of blood. And you know that there's going to be blood on both these guys with a dog collar match, because that's what you do with a dog collar match. You bleed your ass off and you drag the other guy by his neck. So this another hard match to follow. Like, literally every match that we're talking about leading Revolution is a hard match to follow. Like I said, don't want to be Tony Khan having to put this match card together, because nobody's going to want to follow anything.
All right, I have exactly 4 things to say about the CM Punk MJF segment last night. The first one being is that it was brought to my attention by a friend of the show. I'm not going to tell you who, although you'll be able to figure it out, who was listening to the podcast last week and said that, are you
miss Zach?
No. Of course, everybody misses Zach.
Told you, biggest baby face on the show. Sure. Period.
You're right.
Thank you.
But it was brought up to me that, well, the text said exactly, are you and Jason just making stuff up? You and Jason are just making stuff up about the Daniel Bryan CM Punk photo that MJF referenced in his promo.
Right.
Now, apparently, this confused a lot of people because I listened to wrestling podcasts also, and everybody else was like, MJF missed a sentence in there somewhere or something because he didn't talk about how it was when they shook hands before the picture was when Daniel Bryan and CM Punk shook hands before their SummerSlam match for the title, and they shook hands in the WWE ring. And that was the thing that got MJF back into wrestling. MJF made it sound like it was the same night that he was supposed to meet CM Punk or something. So I just want to say that Jason and I weren't making stuff up. MJF was a little unclear on that part during his promo last week. I'm not going to tell you who it is, Jason. It was Tender Mahal.
I'll say, here comes that bus.
The second thing that I'll say is this is new territory for a wrestling story that I can't remember us ever having before, is the dastardly heel who looked up to the babyface coming out and being like, and doing a heartfelt, what can only be described as a babyface promo, talking about the hardships that he went through to sucker the babyface back in and then flip heel on him again. That's a new story. Kudos to whoever's come up with this idea. Kudos to Punk. Kudos to MJF. Kudos to Tony Khan. Kudos to the writing team. That is clever and also new. And if somebody can come up with another example of this, please hit me up with it. The third one being, we can't discount CM Punk's unbelievable babyface promo last night. It was a story. He told a story with this promo that started off, am I the bad guy? He said he asks himself all the time, is he the bad guy? It led all the way to him calling out Maxwell, Jacob Freeman, to come back out. He talks to him, talks to his face, and he goes, he got suckered by MJF, essentially, says, I don't know if I'm the bad guy, but I'm trying not to be. And then they hugged, and then MJF turned on him. CM Punk doing tremendous work. That is the kind of stuff that I wanted from CM Punk on his way back, and he hit a fucking home run last night. Third one,
I know you're next. Before you get to your next point, I will just say it took a lot of bravery and confidence for CM Punk to come out and do a promo like that, because there wasn't a single thing in that promo to pop a crowd. It was just pure vulnerability, and it almost like deadened a crowd in order to tell a greater story. So props to him.
Perfect stuff. The fourth one and the last one being, did anybody see that video going around last night of when CM Punk first won? I think it's when he first won the ROH title, and he cut a promo after he won. And I'm sure that High Five Tom can tell us who he won against. But what MJF said to Punk after he low blowed him was, "I'm a snake. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist," is exactly what CM Punk said at the Ring of Honor when he first won the ROH heavyweight belt. So you have a new story with callbacks to something that happened 16 years ago with the guy that he is in a feud with. I mean, we're talking chef's kiss, just beautiful, beautiful storytelling between MJF and CM Punk. And I'll cede the rest of my time. Thank you.
I had someone, yeah, right. I'm not saying we in Congress in this motherfucker. I had somebody that I would consider not an ROH, but an AEW, not hater, but not necessarily someone that doesn't like the product, hit me up on Twitter and said that they were really invested in this match itself and can't wait for this match on Sunday. So you in that scenario, that's kind of all I really need to know. I'm going to be invested regardless because, I mean, I like AEW. I think this angle has been pretty much on point from the word go. The only thing I would say this, I'll say a point and I'll ask a question to you guys, go however you want to go first and foremost. The statement is Punk is doing, like you said, his best work And ultimately, I hope this gets MJF over in some form or fashion. Here's the question. Do you think with Punk wearing a white shirt and MJF ultimately coming out in a white shirt, it telegraphed that there was going to be color in the segment?
That didn't cross my mind. No, not at the time. I mean, it definitely made for a better visual.
For sure.
Even when Aaron walked in while I was watching the CM Punk, and I was like, hey, look, your he's got a lot of blood. She's like, holy shit, that's a lot of blood. It was a lot of blood. I don't remember CM Punk bleeding very often, to be honest. And I know WWE doesn't have a whole lot of blood, and that's when I watched most of his career. But goddamn, that was a lot. He was
bleeding like a motherfucker.
I mean,
do you think he bit him? I thought I was talking to texting with Vice late last night, and we were talking about that segment. And I was like, I thought he bit him, or he hard-weighed him in some form or fashion to where it really started to like gush more blood.
I don't know, but you could see his heartbeat in the blood that was spilling down his face, which tells me, holy shit, that's probably too much for a guy our age, me and CM Punk's age.
Two Beer, do you think it was telegraphed with Punk wearing the white shirt?
I can't say yes because I saw the visual before
I
saw the actual segment. But I do think it's interesting that MJF was wearing all white, almost like because last week didn't get a chance to talk about it, but this could have been like a perfectly executed double turn. Like if they wanted to go that direction, they could have had Punk be the heel in this match, and that would have been absolutely wild. But that's not the direction they're going, which I think is smart.
Yeah, it's not time to pull the ripcord on MJF. But,
no, hell no. I need to see some more fuckery before we start doing some shit like that.
Yeah, I think that he needs.
But I am confident that they could have pulled it off. I'm not saying it was the right move, but they could have pulled it off with that groundwork.
Definitely, MJF needs to be a heel when he first wins
the title. Whatever that is.
I mean, it could be 2 years from now, but he needs to be a heel when it
sometime
happens.
in 2022.
He's next. That's my opinion.
I agree.
I've been calling it since last year.
I agree. From what this promo really made me start to come over with Two Beers' opinion that MJF is the next champion.
I see. I think that after this match, we're going to have another Punk match, and then he's got a whole Wardlow thing he's got to go through. I don't know. I know it's only March. Coming up next, we had Ricky Starks and Keith Lee backstage. We'll talk about that later. Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Thoughts on that?
It was fine. It wasn't great. The main thing was that Britt Baker took her first pinfall, and that I can remember since the last time Thunder Rosa pinned her. So that's all I really have to say.
Yeah, I was going to say that was the big takeaway is that I was waiting for Jamie Hayter to take the pin, and Britt took it. So I guess, is this AEW fucking with your head? You know, Jamie Hayter didn't take the pin, Britt did, so it's right before Revolution who's going to win. So in this scenario, I'm not necessarily upset with the champion taking a loss in a non-title match because AEW is so new that it could happen either way, and it wouldn't be the end of the world, I guess, so to speak. Look at her, just smiling.
I know. She's just looking at me through the door.
Yeah, she's a cutie pie.
Stop waking up so early. Little punk. One day she's going to listen to these.
Right.
So then we had Jade Cargill and Tay Conti had their segment, and Chris Stanlander and Layla Hirsch had their vignette. Does it make sense? It always seems, and I know I've never said this, I've thought it before, but Tony Khan seems to have like a women's portion of the show where he stacks them all up, segment after segment after segment. Do you think that's smart, or am I only imagining that?
I never really thought about that like that. In this scenario, it did feel like they kind of jammed them all in. I will say this, it's either the women's match or the women's promo segment, vignette, whatever you want to call it. That is AEW's, at least, game plan when it comes to Dynamite. So I'll agree with you to that assessment. It was probably their block where, if I'm looking at it, you just had a women's match, and then you had the two women's vignettes afterwards. So in that scenario, it was just, here's your women's portion of the program. Everybody's happy. Let's move along.
Zach?
Yeah, I won't disagree. Like, I think they do have that women's block, and I think it just kind of exists. There's already so many men that are not featured, and I won't say it's just like catering to an audience or doing like just for the sake of diversity or whatever, because they do have a women's program and stuff. But as far as women's wrestling, it is not the key component of AEW. Like, I'm, fully progressive and fully believe in equality, but like, if you made this show 50% men and 50% women, it would be not as good. So that's not a knock on the women that exist there. It's just the way that the roster is stacked currently. So I want to see the best show, and I think it's fine. But I think you're right.
Coming up next, we had Wardlow, or I'm sorry, Zach. I took your.
Let's say, calm down, man.
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
We ahead of 2 hours, man.
Wardlow versus maybe my favorite wrestling name ever, Cesar Bononi. It sounds like a delicious dish, right?
I was going to say,
it sounds like a sandwich that you would buy at Joya's.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like you're an Italian grinder, if you will.
That'd be a Cesar Bologna.
Vice, he get ready to take your job.
Sounds dirty.
Also, Cesar Bologna. Also something I would eat.
I guess the takeaway for me is this is all after the fact. Wardlow obviously crushes Cesar Bononi, total squash match, but in the ring you had Shawn Spears getting ready to smash Bononi with the chair, and Wardlow stops him. You had the head-to-head face-off, and you saw Shawn Spears kind of back down. Then backstage you had MJF kind of remind Wardlow, after slapping him in the face like he owed him some money, that I got your purse strings. You work for me. You don't work for AEW. So I will agree with Bill in a certain degree that there is a Wardlow bridge to cross before, maybe not even before the AEW championship or somewhere, along those lines. But to me, that was the biggest takeaway. It wasn't even the match. It was everything that happened after the match.
Honestly, Wardlow would be a perfect first contender for an MJF title run.
I could totally see that. He's number 4 right now. I don't see him winning the TNT title, even if he wins the ladder match. So, because especially the other thing, he was, MJF was like, hey, big man, you could keep the TNT title. It's not like you're gonna win it anyway. I was like, oh, okay. So ultimately, MJF and Wardlow's paths are going to cross. It's when are they going to cross? I guess there is the biggest question.
Well, and MJF said to Wardlow, he's like, you don't work for AEW, you work for me. It's like, man, he gets a lot of matches for a guy that doesn't work there.
You stupid.
I'm just saying. All right, what was next, Zach?
Let me see.
Oh, Zach, I thought
pull it up.
every time Zach takes more than 2 seconds to answer, I'm like, man, he's in the convenience store, isn't he?
No, I said
So
D
we had-
shots.
D, motherfucker, D.
Learn to speak English first.
Count the shits again.
Another great movie. God damn, I love that movie.
We had the main event, which was Hangman Adam Page and Dark Order, which is Alex Reynolds and John Silver versus Undisputed Era, so easier to say than Adam Cole and Red Dragon. Fewer syllables, but yeah, I mean, this was essentially kind of telegraphed in the sense like we thought the women's match would be, but they did kind of book it in that sense where we got some, FaceTime, as they would call it in Stardom, an outpost. We had a little outpost for the match between Adam Cole and Adam Page. Yeah. And so, back and forth, fun match. Went through a couple commercial breaks, but, ended up, who got the pin? I'm trying to even
Cole
remember.
pinned Reynolds.
Cole pinned Reynolds right on, and then, finish it off by beating down Page and holding the belt. So, I'm not going to say anything because we do have predictions coming up. But overall, just like overall thoughts about the show, I thought it was a very good Dynamite. I thought it was a very good go-home show because, this is an historic show in a couple senses, and the past couple AEW pay-per-views have just been absolutely phenomenal. If you have the means to spend $50 on something to watch for one evening, this is 100% worth it. These are fantastic shows, so I'm stoked.
Yeah, it's my dad's birthday on Sunday, and I'm like, hey, Dad.
Sorry, Dad.
I got something for you.
We were supposed to go to LeGrand to see Kerry and Nate, and it was going to be awesome. But I was like, I'm going to have to come back late. I was like, I don't know if I can watch on this delay. I was like, this is going to suck. I'm not going to be able to watch live. I'm going to have to stay off my phone. And then they got exposed to COVID, which is not thankfully because I love them, but it was, cancellation of plans for an introvert, especially one that has a pay-per-view. It's basically heroin for adults.
He said basically heroin for adults. I'm dead. I'll say it. I'm looking forward to this more than I am to WrestleMania. Even though WrestleMania's card is pretty much set for the most part, there's nothing you can really do. Cody Rhodes is the only person that is not on the WrestleMania card that is someone I expect to be having a match coming up. Like I said, my thought is him and Seth Rollins makes a pretty intriguing matchup. From there,
he's the only one that can move the needle, and by move the needle, I mean my dick. That's it.
Okay, now in that scenario,
what did you expect him to say? This is our 246. What did you think he was going to say? You had to know that was coming.
I like to give people the benefit of the doubt from time to time.
Listen, when I saw this pay-per-view, I actually fell asleep during this main event, and it had nothing to do with the main event. It's just, you're
waking up at 4 a.m. feeding your child.
I'm tired, and I fell asleep on the couch during it. I tried to stay awake, and I was reading my book, but it just didn't happen. When I first saw it, I was like, man, this is a WWE ass main event. And then I thought, well, Dynamite usually does such a good job as having their main event be must see that on a go home show, this is the kind of main event that you want. You don't want to give anything away. It's not like they're leaving too many guys on the sidelines for the pay-per-view. Fucking QT Marshall has a fucking match on the pre-show.
Cole and Paige really didn't even touch in this main event, and that's really all I want.
It's completely fine with it. We'll get to our predictions in a little bit, but let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, the 3 count is going to be the last 2 segments of Monday Night Raw, in which we had 2 heel turns. 2 heel turns from one a legend, and 2 a guy who has gotten a lot of TV time and a lot of rub over the last year and a half or so, Damian Priest. Finn Balor wins the U.S. title off of Damian Priest. Damian Priest turns heel, does the crucifix bomb onto a table. Looks like we'll probably be getting a rematch at WrestleMania, Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Not mad about that spot for either of those guys where we're sitting right now in the WWE. I think that is a fine spot with Finn Balor as a babyface, as long as he doesn't come out dressed like the boogeyman. Jason, what do you think?
I hope he does, just to piss you off. No, it's fine. I like Finn. I always think he deserves a little more. Never really, finished up the Roman Reigns angle on SmackDown. Neither here nor there. If you're going to pack 100,000 people in a stadium, when you have international travelers coming in, you're going to need guys like Finn Balor to have spots in the card. On a 2-night event, you don't know when Finn's going to be there, so you really just going to have to load it up and do it this way. Damian Priest on, storyline, for lack of a better word. He's been teasing this heel turn for a little bit. They finally pulled the trigger on it. It made sense. No problem with it. I agree with you. It's probably going to be a rematch of WrestleMania. It doesn't really jazz me that much. It is what it is, but I'll give him this much. The match was good. The heel turn was good. They executed it right. So for WWE's purposes, you can't ask much more for that.
Man, that's high praise coming from Jason Cornelius. What do you think? What do you think about it, Zach? Is this the first time you're hearing about it?
Yeah, this part, yeah, it really is. So I did hear about Edge, and I will say something we might want to talk about next week. There was an interview with Pat McAfee and Vince McMahon today, and I didn't watch it, but I did. This is where Vince McMahon offered Pat McAfee a chance to wrestle at WrestleMania, and Pat McAfee said, "That would be a fucking dream. Are you serious?" And Vince McMahon's response was, "I don't bullshit." From a guy who's literally made a living bullshitting for like the last 56 years of his life. It's pretty funny.
Well,
but,
we're going to talk about that in a second, too.
Yeah, because I was getting ready to say,
okay.
I think I got his. I think I know who the opponent is for Pat McAfee if they pull that trigger.
Right, yeah.
I've heard it's Vince McMahon, which is crazy.
No.
Well, it's going to be Austin Theory.
Yes.
That's like a proxy.
It's going to be Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee, and Vince will probably get in there and slap him around.
Something, yeah. Vince will be a part of it.
Listen,
there's no way Vince is wrestling at this point.
No, he's not going to wrestle. They might have his face on the poster.
Fine.
Which is fine. And then he might say that Austin Theory's my proxy, and Austin Theory's going to come in here.
Fine.
And
it's Umaga. Oh, not Umaga, but was it Umaga versus Bobby Lashley, the Battle of the Billionaires?
Versus Bobby Lashley. If it is Vince versus Pat McAfee, that means Pat McAfee joins a very elite club of people who have had matches against Vince McMahon at WrestleMania. I believe the club is Stone Cold Steve Austin,
yeah,
HBK, Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart.
Okay, wait. Are we talking at WrestleMania?
At WrestleMania, right?
All right, let's rewind the tape for a second. You said HBK. I don't remember the HBK singles match at WrestleMania. Yeah,
talk amongst yourself.
I don't remember an HBK singles match at WrestleMania. I don't remember Bret Hart. I remember that. I was there for that one. Oh, who did you say in the middle?
It's quite a rub, regardless.
Yeah, for sure. No question about it. There is no question.
We talk about that a lot with WWE, where like, oh well, you're in this and you get the rub. It actually does work when it's Vince McMahon. Like,
well, yeah,
it doesn't really work with anybody else, but when it is Vince McMahon, that's the biggest praise that you can possibly get. Even Austin Theory being his proxy, like that's a huge rub.
When Kevin Owens took out Vince McMahon, we were doing the pod. This was in the Shock City days. That was a huge deal too, and that propelled KO to, the next, spot wherever that is, ultimately end up being the Universal title at a later point. But there is something to be said about putting Vince McMahon in a spot where you have a match and he's involved in it, whether it's directly or in this case, it's probably going to be indirectly. I thought they were going to do the angle on the McAfee show itself where, like Vince would come out, they'd have the interview, Vince would say something, Pat McAfee would disagree, you'd have.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't. I figured.
I know that he mentioned AEW to him, so I'm interested to see what he had to say. I just saw Denise, I'm not going to butcher her last name, but she works with Fightful and Figure 4 Online and a bunch of other people. She's a good personality.
The Denise chick.
Yeah, she's got the Latino last name.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
It starts with an S. I'm not even going to try it either.
Yeah. But she tweeted that Vince McMahon just asked Pat McAfee about AEW, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, I need to watch this. Like,
you don't say. No, well, I mean, what's really Vince going to say? I mean, it's not like AEW doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we got to at least talk about that. The Cody Rhodes rumors aren't going away. So I mean, if he wanted to talk about it, he can talk about that. But, I mean, it would be kind of disingenuous, and, God forbid, WWE does it a lot, where, this doesn't exist or this storyline never happened. Let's focus on the present. It's going to be hard for Vince not to at least acknowledge that AEW exists, okay? A lot of the talent that he released went over to AEW, so we can't sit up here and not acknowledge that fact. KO got a bigger bag because of AEW. Sami Zayn, I'm sure, was the same way. So, I mean, at a certain point, I'm sure he's not going to praise AEW by any stretch of the imagination, but
Tony Khan's the new Roman Reigns. He's like, acknowledge me.
Right. I'll say you're going to at least acknowledge the fact that we are here and we're going to be a thorn in your side for the foreseeable future. No problem with that. They're not going to overtake WWE. I'm not going to sit up here and say no nonsense like that. But I will say that I expect AEW/ROH in whatever form or fashion to be on Vince's ass every step of the way moving forward. And Revolution, I expect to be a big start of it.
Yeah, totally. It is definitely interesting. I mean, for a WrestleMania that does seem maybe trite in the sense that it's another Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and I know they have been doing everything in their power to make that special, right? I mean, they essentially derailed the whole Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber just to make every pay-per-view they've completely derailed just to make this match special.
Why do you say they derailed it?
Oh, just because, you could have had Roman and Brock without Brock winning the Royal Rumble, right?
True.
But they did that.
True.
So they wanted to make it even more powerful. They wanted, it's like every single thing. I mean, like Bill says, all roads lead to Roman. And I also like my misspeak there that all roads lead to Roman as well. But we'll leave that one alone.
That's for you, ladies. That's for you. Courtesy of Two Beer Zach Bowman. I'm sure some of the guys are too.
I just hope there's a lot of mops in that WrestleMania arena whenever Roman Reigns comes out.
Right. I was going to say I didn't want to disrespect some of the guys too. I'm sure some of the guys love them some Roman, but I will agree with you on that. All roads lead to Roman. I will say this. Well, now I'll ask you this because Bill asked me this last week and I struggled to answer this question, so I'll throw it to you. The WrestleMania obviously is coming up here in 4 or 5 weeks. Outside of Roman Brock, are there any matches that you're looking forward to?
Well, if the KO Austin rumors are true, if Austin's really back, I am looking forward to that.
Let's just assume that he's coming back.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that. There's a lot of interest for me in that match because, I mean, why wouldn't there be? Stone Cold is at the top of my Mount Rushmore of all time. He's my A1, number A. Like, he's over everyone else. He's over Hogan. He's over Bruno. He's over Rock. Everybody. Like, whenever you say, what's your Mount Rushmore, I literally start with Stone Cold Steve Austin and I work down.
See, Austin, and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah. So I ended up, starting with that and, working down from there. So I am very interested in this match. So I'd say that's the A number one.
Outside of that, any other matches you're looking forward to at all?
I mean, thinking about them, it is difficult for me to get mega excited about anything else. I'm sure they're going to put on some good ones. I mean, Becky and Bianca, I'm looking forward to, but other than that, it's
okay. I was going to say
it's tough.
Edge obviously flipped on AJ on Monday.
Right. Have you guys talked about this?
No, we're just getting ready to right now.
So AJ versus Edge is an exciting match.
No, that was going to be the other one I said it was going to have to be put on the list.
You're right. That's going to be dope.
That's kind of a dream match.
I wouldn't call it a dream match, but it was a match that I didn't think would ever happen, and now it's going to happen. It kind of makes sense.
If I would have told you the day after WrestleMania last year that the next year it was going to be Edge versus AJ.
Sign me up.
Yeah. Now, I wish they would have told a little bit more of a story than just having Edge being like somebody come out here and AJ comes out there. I mean, That's dumb, but I mean, WWE doesn't tell stories anymore.
No, they do. It's just they pick it. No.
Do they?
Yes. Yeah, they do. Roman Reigns. They pick and choose the stories they want to tell.
That's the exception that proves the rule.
No, they pick and choose the stories they want to tell.
Okay.
Drew McIntyre the year before that. It's all upper echelon stories. Becky and, Ronda are separate stories on the women's side, but they're both being told as stories.
So do you think, Edge is clearly the heel here.
Mm-hmm. He fucked that dude up.
No doubt. He fucked that dude up and smiled while he was doing it. Gave him a concerto.
No. He didn't smile. That's what I think was the best part of the whole.
He smiled at the end,
but it was conflicted. It was like, should I do this? And then all of a sudden, the devil on the show was like, "Fuck it, go ahead, him with the chair, bow." Should I do this? No, go ahead, him in the chair again, bow, bow, bow. That's what it was, the conflicting emotions in that whole segment where Edge, you could see it in his face where, I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. Now, fuck that shit. We going to WrestleMania. Now I'm going to do it.
I got to be honest. I'm looking more forward to Edge versus AJ now than I am Brock Roman.
I will be honest. I probably would have remembered that match, but whenever you were asking me, my neighbor showed up and he was riding in on a Lime scooter. He totally just fucking ate shit all over the I was trying not to fucking bust up laughing, and I was also.
You better than me. I'd have ran.
You just got to ignore it when that happens. I mean, I remember one time. I can't remember if I've ever told this story, but Steve's dog Leo was hanging out with me and Aaron. And
Harrison?
Yeah, and okay. I was like, my brother-in-law. And I was like, hey, Leo, you want to go on a run with me? I was like going to run a couple miles. And Steve's like, yeah, he'll go on a run with you, like when he dropped him off. I was like, do you think he'll run with me? He's like, yeah, he'll run with me. So we're running along the sidewalk in South City, Tower Grove South. And it's hot outside. There's a sprinkler coming up. And I'm like, well, this dog's going to fucking love this sprinkler. We're just going to run right through this sprinkler.
Right.
The dog acted like he was allergic to water, just undercuts me bad, and I just eat it on the sidewalk, scrape up my elbow, scrape up my hand, scrape up my wrist and everything, And there was this couple walking by, and they were probably about 50 yards away. And
are you okay?
The dude started to be like, are you okay? And his girl like grabbed him, was like, no, head down. And I was like, thank you. Like, do not ask me if I'm okay. Just let me soak here in my embarrassment about just eating shit with this dog as you're walking.
That's not even mine. You motherfucker. I can't even kick you right now.
Nah.
For context, this is my neighbor's kid who I think is like 17 or 18. And probably the last thing he wanted was for some fat shit doing a wrestling podcast, like banging a dart to ask him if he was doing okay.
No, you could have ran over there, man. I'd be like on the spot reporting. Dude, you should have seen this shit.
Oh, well, I don't know who's fought Vince McMahon. Hey, are you okay there, Sonny? Yeah. You should have just looked at him and been like, the world is a vampire. KO keeps doing this thing where he's making fun of Texas. He was wearing a Stetson hat in the opening segment of Raw. A very good opening segment of Raw, by the way, with KO, Seth Rollins, Chad Gable, and Otis. Chad Gable and Kevin Owens doing comedy work. Just work. I mean, it was legit funny.
You cannot put Chad Gable on your underrated for 2022 anymore.
No, he's got the belt. He held the belt. That's fine.
At this point, Chad Gable is doing the best work he's done in WWE.
Thank you.
It's been a long time coming. Now at this point, I just need a singles run. Whatever mid-card title you want him to chase after, this is his springboard to that mid-card title.
I'm really hoping that we're still getting KO versus Austin.
No, it's happening.
Or it could be a segment with KO and a bunch of Texans where KO takes a bunch of...
No, they lose next week. Alpha Academy will retain next week. Alpha Academy and Street Profits are going to be your WrestleMania match. So that frees up KO for Austin, and that frees up Seth Rollins for Cody Rhodes.
What about Ring of Honor and AEW and everything I said earlier?
Okay, that goes into your work portion of the program.
Oh yeah, it's still work.
Yeah,
it's still work.
Yeah, you can get the WrestleMania chat and still go and take over Ring of Honor, and invade AEW.
I mean, that's really smart.
Okay, hey, I'm just following your lead on this one.
Anything else you want to talk about from main roster? I mean, SmackDown was just real bad. I mean, real bad. It sucks. It sucks when the best thing about SmackDown is Johnny Knoxville. By the way,
Ooh,
Sami
that's
Zayn,
bad.
Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. That's gonna be a fun celebrity match. That's gonna be a fun celebrity match.
I really hope Ricochet wins next week. Let's fuck that whole shit up. If you want,
It seems like he's on an upswing. It seems like I don't know. He's getting his 3 weeks or whatever. And if you're getting your 3 weeks, like the 3 weeks before WrestleMania, are the ones to get.
Supposedly Ricochet is getting a push. Take it for what it's worth.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
I said supposedly. I said supposedly.
It's like when my wife says she's going to put her hair back tonight. Yeah, believe it when I see it. The world is a vampire.
Dude, back up off the mic if you're going to do that.
Damn,
the microphone's an instrument.
Jesus Christ.
Not much else to talk about there. That's going to do it for the 3 count. Let's get to that 4 counts.
1, 2, 3.
All right, it's New Japan Cup season. And we had our first night of New Japan Cup last week. I don't know, or last night, I should say. I don't know if Zach had a chance to watch it. Did you, Zach?
No, so I watched the Sonata and Tanahashi match, which was great. I watched the first 10 minutes or so of Okada Naito,
So
which
they're
I
just
will
warming
finish. And then my plan is, I'm very busy with work. My plan is to have like an absolute super wrestling day on the Revolution Day and just like bang out all the rest of that shit and catch up on some Stardom stuff as well. So I'm almost fully current with Stardom, so I'll get there. But I do know the outcome, so like you're not spoiling anything for me.
I would say there were 2 out of the 8 matches that were good to great.
Obviously, the main event.
Okada Desperado was a fun match that told a fun story.
Despy was bending that dude up.
Yeah, but Okada choking him out to almost passing out, choking Desperado out, and then letting go of the money clip right before he passed out because Okada was so pissed off at him and wanted to fuck him up a little bit more.
Hey, man, look.
That's a new wrinkle.
No, look. I'll just say this. And I didn't see the Okada heel run, so I can't speak intelligently on it. But to me, it was a scenario where it was more about respect for Desperado. You just ain't gonna just choke me out, okay? You ain't just gonna sit up here and play me like this fool. You're gonna have to do some work. In this scenario, Okada had, basically had him, taken down, but at the end of the day, he had to go to the Rainmaker to make this shit work. I thought it was a really good match. Like I said, to me, it was more about Desperado hanging with the biggest dog of New Japan, and they've done this before where on the anniversary show, the heavyweight champion wrestles the junior champion in the pandemic 2020 year. That should have been Naido versus Hiromu, and we didn't get that.
I would have loved that match.
This was a nice little replacement for that match.
And the junior has never won against the heavyweight.
No, but
never once. And I thought last year might be the year, but we didn't get the match. And as much as Desperado's been doing good work, and I heard this match was phenomenal.
He teased it a lot to the point where he had the stretch muffler on him or whatever, and he was bending him up real nice. He beats Hiromu with this stretch muffler or whatever. Same kind of concept. Had the neck, the leg around the neck, had the shoulders, basically pinned down. Which way you want to go out. You want to get pinned or you want to tap out. I think that's one of the best submissions in the game, and he had Okada in that to the point where you knew he wasn't going to tap out, but Okada was in some trouble. I thought this was a really, really good match.
And the other match I liked a whole lot was Yo versus Tanahashi.
This was the one where Chris Charlton he called it his upset special, and as the match kind of progressed, I can kind of see why he said that. I didn't really realize that Yo and Tanahashi have kind of the same moveset, but as this match progressed, you could see those kind of movesets kind of, mesh together or whatever the case may be. Don't get me wrong. I like Yo. It had been a really tall stretch for me to see him beat the Ace in this scenario. Maybe, somewhere down the line, if Yo graduates to be a heavyweight, you can cross that bridge when you get there at this point. Good match, not the best. Despi Okada was the best match of the night. This was really good, just not on that level. I didn't really feel that either of the juniors had a chance. If I had to say, watching both matches, I felt like Desperado had more. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think Yo had probably a better chance to beat Tanahashi than Despi had a better chance beating Okada.
Naido versus Yujiro?
The only thing I can say about this is that for 30 seconds, they got me where I thought Yujiro would be honorable, I guess, for lack of a better term, where he called off House of Torture. I was waiting for House of Torture to come out, and they came out, and he called him off, and I was like, okay, what the fuck is this? Is this going to actually be, a semi face turn?
Then he low blowed him.
I'm like, you motherfucker. God damn it.
Really good stuff.
Yeah, that was the best part about the whole match.
I almost texted you at the end of that match because I knew you were marking out when Naido did the pop-up low blow to Evil and then did his little pose. And then did his little pose. I know that you were marking out.
Yeah, for sure.
We also had Shima goes over Michinoku. There was no upsets. Yoshihashi went over Hanma. Goto goes over Yuji Nagata. Toji Makabe loses to Jeff Cobb, and then
dominant fashion.
Ooh, we almost forgot about this one. Just a barn burner, man. It was Yano versus Tai Chi.
I'll say this, and I'm not going to knock.
Here we go.
No. I'm gonna throw some.
Your words, brother.
No. I'm gonna throw some flowers for Yano. So just give me 30 seconds. I'm not going to sit here and knock Yano's participation in any G1 or New Japan Cup. He is who he is, and I can't sit here and say that he shouldn't be in tournaments. Now, that being said, in this scenario, I thought that the use of Yano on Tai Chi was pretty much perfect. Tai Chi didn't necessarily have the best of G1 finishes, and since he and Zack Sabre Jr. lost the tag titles, he hasn't really been much of a factor up until this point. I'm not saying he's going to make a run in the New Japan Cup, but it was good to see him win a singles match, even if it's Yano. And Yano's not necessarily, a top tier, contender by any stretch of the imagination, but it was good to see him. No, look, he can be KOPW champion. He ain't winning no, mid-card title or anything like that. Cold-blooded. So that being said, it was good to see Tai Chi come back in a scenario where he didn't outsmart Yano, but he kind of beat him at his own game, even though Yano tried to outsmart him in that scenario.
Bottom line to Two Beer and to anybody else that is a New Japan fan or who has access to New Japan, the bottom line is you should go out of your way to watch Okada versus Desperado. Everything else in this round was watchable, but nothing really blew you away. No. Yo Tanahashi was really good, and so is Naito, Yujiro.
Those are the three best matches. If you like Jeff Cobb and you want to see him stomp somebody out, that's a good match. I mean, Jeff Cobb.
Do you remember my picks last week? I listened back just to hear my picks earlier today, and I really liked what they were.
This motherfucker here.
Yeah, here comes Vice. He's on his way.
Thank you. This is the way I like to see this man stroll up. Don't tell me he's coming up.
All right, so that is going to do it for our 4 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, so you know what we got, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I hate you. I hate you. Ooh. He said, ooh. 2 different reactions. I hate you. Ooh.
I looked around and I saw what was going on.
So We got some predictions right now. So the gang's all here.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Bo's going to take Edna May. Hold on a second.
Jesus. Can we get the skull cap off this poor woman's face, please? I mean, can I be? Yes, thank you. I need to see her pretty face. Good Lord. God bless America. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you're comfortable there with Uncle Vice.
This is going to get ugly.
All right, so here we go. We're going to have some predictions. Oh, that's the wrong button.
No. See, here you go. Here you go.
We can. Well, we don't have
she
to.
has a skull cap. Sonata flew in to give a skull cap to Edna May.
How dare you?
What you mean? He's the U.S. champ. Okay? If anything, that was the great part about Sonata winning. He finally got the monkey off of his back for 6 years. I didn't think he was going to win.
He got
it was
some
a great
singles
match.
gold, man.
He comes out last when LIJ comes out. Can we give some love to Sonata, for God's sakes?
No, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no. All right, so we got a couple matches on the pre-show here. We got Hook versus QT. QT Marshall, I should say. Who you have, Zach?
Is there anybody but Hook, really? This is the Hook show. They should call the pre-show the Hook show. They hook you in.
I ain't mad at you for that.
Sounds like Zach's taking Hook.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on that. I expect this. This should be a squash. I mean, 5 minutes tops. Let's not drag this thing out. If Hook is going to be, that guy, let's keep him being that guy. QT Marshall is not losing anything in this scenario. So let's just go ahead, have him get crushed, and keep this shit moving along.
Is Hook undefeated? So Hook is undefeated, so I'm going to take No, I'm going to take Hook, sorry.
Damn it, I thought we was getting free points.
We got Statlander versus Layla Hirsch. Who you got, Jason?
Ooh, I like this feud. I wish they would put a little more time and investment into it, neither here nor there. Chris Statler's talking about she's going to see a different side of her that we haven't seen before. I'm going to go ahead and give her the benefit of the doubt, even though I like Layla Hirsch a lot. I'm going to go ahead and take Chris Statlander.
I, too, will take Chris Statlander. She's a little bit more established. If they need somebody to plug into a main event slot somewhere on kind of an off week, Chris Statlander would be a good one to do it. Better Layla Hirsch anyway. I'm taking Statlander also.
Stop it.
No, I mean, I like Layla Hirsch. I'm just being real.
You got a little too real, but go ahead.
Zach.
Yeah, I've totally got Chris Statlander. She has a ton of upside, and she was likely slotted for something a little bit better than this feud before she got hurt, and this is kind of her warming back up to be in that title contention. So I could see her being a great first contender for Thunder Rosa. Spoiler alert on my future pick.
Right.
So everybody's taking Statlander. Then we got Jade Cargill and Ty Conti. Jason.
I'm going to take Jade, obviously. I like Ty. I think she'll be a TNT champion at some point down the line. Her and Serena Deeb would be a nice little match if we got that going on. But in that scenario, I'm going to take Jade in this Sunday night scenario.
Zach, who you got?
I'm sorry, my wife and children just pulled up, and my parents going to be mad that I didn't name them all. I just referred to them as my relationships, but yeah, what was the match?
Jade Cargill versus Tay Conti.
Oh man, I really like Tay Conti as a challenger, but I don't think it's time for them to transition that belt yet. I think it's keep Jade Cargill strong because she's a star, and I think you keep her being a star and keep her with that belt.
Jade Cargill is a star. She's 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 a big, bright, shining star. That's what Dirk Diggler said to his dick at the end of Boogie Nights. That's what I think about Jade Cargill. Big time star. I'm taking Jade Cargill.
Hey man, she is hot. She is hot. Jesus Christ.
No, I'm not talking. I'm talking about purely talent. Hey, we got the AFHO versus Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Sting in a 3-on-3 match. I'll go first.
Please.
I'll take the baby faces. Zach, who you got?
Yeah, I don't see that group losing. This is kind of, I think if you were picking a lock of the week, this is it.
Wow, giving it the lock of the week. The Two Beer Zach Pullman guaranteed lock of the week. Who you got, Jason?
Yeah, lock of the week. That's
take
deep.
the heels. Take the heels.
I can't, man. I can't. I already gave it away a little bit ago when I was talking about Jeff Hardy coming in to deal with Matt. Have Matt somehow, some way, Matt goes left in this match, and it opens up for the baby.
Yeah, there were some
win.
shenanigans on Rampage too, where Matt tried to throw Andrade's
foot off the ropes. Okay,
Yeah.
so did everybody watch Rampage? Did you watch Rampage?
Most of it. I was a little banged up.
Did you see this
I mean,
part where
it
it
was
looked
awesome.
like?
Zach, I know.
Yeah, right. Did you see the part where it looked like Matt Hardy pushed Andrade's foot off the rope?
No, missed that salty.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm
Do
the one
you
that brought it up.
Okay. Do you think that he pushed his foot off the rope?
Yes,
Okay, I agree totally.
of course it did.
You don't?
Just because Jericho said he
Unreal.
did. Just because Jericho said he didn't.
No,
Some
I
reasons,
no.
like
It's,
back and to the left. Back and to the left.
what are you saying now?
I think Jericho talking about it made it that big of a deal.
I think that Jericho takes 50 mg's of Adderall an hour before every Rampage starts because, man, when he is on commentary, he is
All over the place. God bless him.
Seriously.
He's just all over the place.
I think you're right about that milligram doses. See you, Boney.
That was a Jericho spot right there. Exactly. God bless him. He's
He
just
takes
all over
50
the place.
mg's of he takes 50 mg's of Adderall, and then 1 hour later, he's like, "Today is the greatest day I've ever known.
Dude, I gotta pee.
Can't wait for tomorrow." All right, he taking
Mommy
it.
come, mommy come, mommy call me.
Okay, hold on. All right, sorry. It's getting a little crazy out here. We got Vice, we got Edna Guerrero, my wife Erin's sitting out here now.
I say all
So-
the fams out here. BFR's in the house, baby.
So coming up next, we have the three-way tag match between Jurassic Express, Red Dragon, and the Young Bucks. Zach, I will let you go first. Go least to most.
Oh, I'm gonna have to think about this one real quick. Man, at least this is gonna be an amazing match overall. It's gonna be just might even like steal the show, but least to most, I think maybe least is Jurassic Express. I think we're getting a title change, and so I'm gonna go least with them. I'm gonna second Young Bucks because they already did the longest reigning tag team thing, and it would be more interesting storyline wise for Red Dragon to take the titles and Young Bucks be super bitter about it and add to that animosity between Undisputed and Young Bucks. So I've got Jurassic Express least, Young Bucks second, and Red Dragon taking that title.
Wow.
Jason.
I'm not going to change my. I like your idea, but I'm not going to change who I thought is going to win this match. I'm going to go Red Dragon 3. I think you can still have discourse between the Bucks and Cole and Red Dragon and all that shit. Kenny Omega come back, whatever the case may be. You can still have that discord without them winning the titles. I'm going to go with Bucks with 2. I can see them winning the titles. I just don't necessarily think it's the time nor the place for them to do it. I'm going to take Jurassic Express begrudgingly to retain the titles. I'm not sure why I'm doing it. It was the feel for me coming into this, and I'm going to stick to that. It doesn't necessarily make the most sense just because I think Red Dragon is that team. The Bucks are the better team. Either team, I think, is better than the Jurassic Express, but I just think that they're going to retain. I don't know why, but I'm just going to stick to it.
I'm amazed right now Because I have it the exact same way that you do. I have Jurassic Express as the most likely. I already wrote it in at the very beginning. Who did you have second? Young Bucks?
Yeah.
Okay. I have the Young Bucks third.
Okay.
I have Red Dragon. I think that either Red Dragon is going to cost the Young Bucks, or Young Bucks are going to cost Red Dragon, and Jurassic Express is going to
be
they're going to walk. They're going to walk out with the belts.
I mean, those are both like very valid in the sense that they arrive.
I was just going to say
we're all booking the same thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say I think Zach saying that Jurassic Express is the least likely to win also makes sense because they're transitional champions.
They are,
but maybe they're not. Or maybe they're not.
I think they are because Jungle Boy is destined for that TNT title.
Come on, man.
It's like
look at
they
that.
booked it to get a pop.
Who is
time.
Jungle Boy?
Jungle Boy's destined for TNT.
I agree.
And
Jungle Boy's
the transitional aspect.
I mean, their 4 pillars are so fucking good. If that's really what they are, if we're calling them the 4 pillars, they are so fucking good. Every single one of them.
Jungle Boy is here.
When you're like, well, this guy is going to carry the company into the future. You could say Jungle Boy, you could say Darby Allin, you could say MJF, you could say Sammy Guevara, and every single one of those answers could be right except for Darby Allin.
You just ain't gonna give him any love, are you?
No, I love him.
No, you don't.
Come on, I always give him
props. You love the in-ring shit.
All right, we got some big ones coming up. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. I will go first. It is time for a title change. I'm going Thunder Rosa. What do you got, Jason?
I'm piggybacking that. I love Britt Baker. I love the heel work. I love the promos. I was saying this to Jinder Mahal the other night because we were talking about this, and he was saying that he disagreed with our Britt Baker take last week. And I asked him, what is a great Britt Baker match? And he said Thunder Rosa. Okay, we all agree upon that. But then, give me the next one.
Best women's match since Bayley Sasha.
Give me the next one, and there's the problem. Britt Baker is not a problem of booking. It's a problem of in-ring. She doesn't deliver in-ring the way I think that a AEW women's champion should. It's not a knock. Like I said, it is what it is, but it's time for her to cough up the belt. Thunder Rosa, I'm taking for the win. It's not a knock against Britt Baker. I love her. She's a Steelers fan, but it is what it is.
Zach, who you got?
Yeah, I got Thunder Rosa. I'll just echo those sentiments. Keep it brief.
Are you keeping it brief because I said that we were keeping it brief, or because your wife and your kids got home?
No, because you said to keep it brief. They're all inside. I'm out here holding. I have a chimney of charcoal going, and I'm holding like something over it to keep it from the rain because I live in Portland and it rains all the time. But I still want to do my favorite hobbies, which is podcasting and grilling and drinking.
I respect it. I respect
the
hell out of it.
I'm in Portland. It's so rainy out here.
That's rough stuff from Jason Bell. Jesus, I apologize, Zach.
Fuck that.
All right,
he crying about Portland.
Okay, let's do this hard one right now. Okay, so we're gonna do least to most for the ladder match, and I think this person gets a title shot, right? The person that wins this ladder match
gets the title shot at
all right
at a later point.
So we're gonna go least to most.
Least to most.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough.
No, it ain't.
Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Wardlow, Christian Cage, and Ethan Page. I'll tell you what, you could start a promotion with those 7 guys and be okay, man. That is a fucking lineup.
Here's my question.
It's the first time I've ever looked at it.
When did Ethan Page and Christian Cage get involved in this match?
Who the fuck cares? You're focusing on the wrong stuff, dude.
Okay.
On the last page.
Zach, pull this up on your phone. Jason, I'm going to let you go first. Go ahead. Least to most.
Okay, we'll just go with the Cage boys at this point. Brian Cage is going to be there.
No, not Brian Cage. Ethan Page.
And Christian Cage. Okay, we'll go with
Holy
Christian
shit.
Cage at 7.
How are we ever going to know if you're having a stroke?
Pass me the weed. If I don't take the weed, then yeah, it's a stroke. Christian Cage at 7. Ethan Page at 6.
And the world is a vampire.
Yes, it is. Jesus Christ. Oh, let's go Powerhouse Hobbs at 5. Starks at 4.
Nah. Yeah, this is a bad list. You got 3, 2, 1 left.
Wardlow, Keith Lee, and who's my third?
Christian.
No, he already said Christian.
No, they're at the bottom.
Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Orange Cassidy at 3.
Oh, you didn't say Orange Cassidy yet.
Orange Cassidy at 3. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. This is a great pod.
Fuck.
You got Keith Lee and
Wardlow
left.
I'll go Keith Lee 2, Wardlow 1.
All right. I'll go next because Zach might still be pulling that up. I'll go Ricky Starks last. I mean, there's no fucking way. He's good. I like him. There's just no fucking way. I'll go Hobbs second to last. There's just no fucking way. What do those guys have in common?
Really?
Both of them enjoy playing video games.
I was about to say, really? I'm getting ready to kick you. Don't say it.
I am. All right. That's
they both light-skinned brothers, man.
Whoa!
I ain't light-skinned yet.
Yet.
He said not even close. I'm milk
James
chocolate.
got a trip to Neverland book.
No, I'm milk chocolate, man. This is milk chocolate over here. This ain't dark chocolate. It ain't like that white chocolate that we do at Restaurant A. Go ahead, finish, man.
Cafe Ole.
Take it easy. I'm looking at it.
What you mean? Okay, you were here giving me all kinds of shit like 2 minutes
That's
ago.
my move.
And now all of a sudden you looking
Christian.
at it.
Okay, so I'm going least Ricky Starks, second Powerhouse Hobbs, third Christian Cage, fourth the least is Ethan Page, third to most is Orange Cassidy, then I got Wardlow, then I got Keith Lee. I got Keith Lee winning
Lee's
it.
winning it for Bill.
I got Keith Lee winning it. The weed is strong.
Two-beer, you're
Two-beer.
up.
Yeah,
you
you're
better
up.
be
I
firing
told you
this
this one was
joker
going to
up.
be hard.
I spent all my time looking that up as one-handed as I held a lid over my charcoal here, and I picked the exact same thing as Bill.
No
So
way.
I did all that work, and Bill just said it's 6. I don't know what the probability is.
Say it again.
But of that, Ricky Starks, Bellissimo, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, Christian Cage, Ethan Page, Wardlow, Keith Lee.
You forgot Orange Cassidy, Wardlow, Keith Lee?
Oh, I forgot Orange Cassidy entirely. Yeah.
Well, put Orange Cassidy at 3 and we'll be exactly the same.
I will put Orange Cassidy below Ethan Page. How about that? We'll do a little bit different. I'll put Ethan Page at 3 and Orange Cassidy at 4.
Fair enough. I like the
you.
way you think, though, brother.
Look at you.
All
You
right.
guys are cute.
That was a hard part. God damn. I am fucking.
Vice is over here like, I can't believe you jokers do this every week.
We got 4 matches. Left.
Bill's over here rubbing his head like his daughter's getting ready to get married.
All right.
Here's the receipts.
All right. We got Y2J versus Eddie Kingston. Zach, you go first.
I'm dead.
This is 100% Eddie Kingston, at least in my mind. It should be Eddie Kingston. If it's not, I'm going to actually be mad. And I've not been not critical of AEW, but if Jericho wins this, it's not cool.
I'm going to go with Zach there with the pick. Not necessarily. I wouldn't go that strong, but if Jericho wins here, they at least have to have at least one more other fight where Eddie Kingston goes over the second time.
I would assume that
I won't go as far. I get where Zach's coming from.
No. I would assume that Eddie Kingston wins. If he doesn't and Jericho wins, there should be some major fuckery going on. He shouldn't win by himself because the way Jericho is being
essentially,
presented.
if Jericho wins, it should be because Proud and Powerful
somebody
on
comes
his
in.
behalf.
And that's the other thing I was going to say.
That might have been what was happening.
That's what I was going to say when you were talking about what was Proud and Powerful going to do. My knee-jerk reaction is when I saw it this is a heel turn for Eddie Kingston. They're going to side with Eddie Kingston and make sure that Jericho goes down. Now it's 50-50. I still think it's going to be, they're going to help Eddie Kingston, but neither here nor there.
So all three of us have Eddie Kingston.
I got Eddie Kingston for sure.
And you have LAX. I'm not calling them Proud and Powerful. You got LAX
I
helping
think
out.
they are going to help Eddie Kingston in some form or fashion win this match. And that's the whole reason they came out.
I don't call him Gunther, do I?
No. But that was the whole reason they came out was like, thanks for helping you. Thanks for coming out, Chris. And he never came out. That was the whole reason. Dare I say a little irony for this motherfucker. You keep fucking us over, and now the payoff is Eddie Kingston beats
All right.
Chris
to
Jericho.
me, these are the three big matches.
Okay.
Now, listen, that tag team match is a big match, but it's a tag team match, and for some reason, I put a little bit more stock into one-on-one matches.
Agreed.
And I put a lot more stock into triple threats.
I can't believe you just said that, but
All right, so these are the three big ones. We'll start off with the one with probably the least amount of juice. We'll go Moxley versus Daniel Bryan, which is effectively a friendly.
No, I won't say that. Effectively or friendly to me is like Rock versus Austin whenever that was in Seattle for WrestleMania. It's still one of my favorite matches. It has no title implications. It's two of the greats, and they roll the ball out, and they just let them do it.
Yeah, but it's so obvious that no matter who wins here, they're going to end up together.
Is it that obvious?
It's pretty obvious to me. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Tubier, you're the AEW biggest mark of the bunch. Is it that obvious that Moxley and Bryan Danielson are together no matter who wins this match?
I don't think it's like obvious, but I am like leaning that way 90%.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Look, maybe I'm the guy
He said you have to bleed with me to be my tag team partner.
Okay.
So what kind of story would it be if Daniel Bryan didn't bleed with him?
It could be the story where you can bleed with him and then Moxley turns on him at a later point. Okay? This is the whole thing about the whole Cody Rhodes thing where you guys are like, he can't go back and go for the title. He really can. He's an EVP. If he really wanted to do it, he can do it. Let's just come back to the chase.
Call 911.
I'm still alive. I'll say this. I'll start first. I'll make my prediction first. I'm going to go with Moxley winning this match. The way they have built this match up, Moxley has not beaten Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan in any form or fashion in any promotion. We're going to bleed. We're going to have some color.
You're stealing
but
my
in
shit.
some form or fashion, Jon Moxley wins this match. Now, if these two jokers go off and have this great faction, the Evolution faction that you were talking about last week,
yeah,
I'm all for
that smart,
shit.
Right?
That was dog. That was a pencil. Not even a pencil. That's a pen. Put that shit in pen.
I don't remember who the two guys I had with him.
It was fucking
Moriarty and Dante Martin?
No, it was Moriarty and Garcia.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Yes.
That's
Sir.
good
Yes, sir.
All right, Zach.
Make that shit happen, Captain.
Who you got, Zach?
Sorry, multitasking.
No, he's going in the
convenience store.
He's going in the convenience store.
No, I got a
Marlboro
bag
Lights
of raw
100.
chicken and marinade here in one hand and a pair of tongs in the other that I'm clicking like every dad in America. But
that's why you guys should send us money. We work really hard at this.
Absolutely.
Multitasking while we doing the damn thing.
But yeah, I have Moxley winning, but it's a close thing. It's not guaranteed. Like Jason said, they're building a story up that Moxley hasn't beat him, and that's the story. But either one of these guys can win. And the thing is, especially with face versus face, and that's how it is. The dynamic, it's going to be awesome either way.
Whoa, this is not face versus face.
So,
well, at least fan favorite.
No, Bryan Danielson is the heel.
I don't want to say face versus face. Fan favorite versus fan favorite.
Okay, there you go. Better choice of words.
Moxley is less likely to get booed, though. Moxley cannot get booed.
No, at this point, no.
And Daniel Bryan can.
He would have to kill somebody's grandmother.
Which is why Moxley, I can't believe I'm saying this. He's a great babyface. I never would have predicted that at the beginning of the Shield. I never would have predicted that.
Okay, well then, I mean, that's, another story for another time. Totally
yes, it is.
Scenario.
I was going to take Bryan Danielson here.
Take him.
No, just to make for good pod.
Take
but,
him.
No, but there's points on the line, and I'm taking Moxley because that's who I believe is going to win. Moxley is going to win.
Dude, this is a little coin flip. You know that, right? This is the one time if you took Bryan Danielson, you would not get mocked.
Moxley,
it's okay.
Moxley will not get pinned by Bryan Danielson. It's just not going to happen. I'm taking Moxley also. We have two left, and these are huge ones, I guess. I mean, Punk versus MJF. I'll go first. I think that we're leading towards a trio of matches, a trilogy, if you will, and I think Punk is going to win this one. What do you think, Jason?
Man.
You haven't thought about this yet?
No, I really haven't thought about it, but I'll think about it right now. Obviously, MJF won round one. I really think, ultimately, I'm looking at long term. Who beats Page for the title?
I think MJF will take the trilogy. I just think there's going to be a trilogy ad. Shouldn't be talking to you during your predictions. This is bad.
No. Okay.
Man, I shouldn't be giving you all this insight.
Yeah, right. We'll go. Fuck both you motherfuckers first and foremost.
He's making fun of me.
No, he's making fun of me. I'm gonna take Jesus Christ. I'll take Punk on this one. You're right. It's gonna be a trilogy. It's not even whoever wins the title match. It's not gonna be anybody that wins the title right away. Punk should get it. It's gonna be
two beers. Zach Pullman.
God, I would love MJF to win both. I would just say that. I would love MJF to win both and just squash that shit right now.
Shouldn't happen. Who you got, Zach?
I know.
I know,
but he should.
I like the idea of a trilogy, but at the same time, I really
there you
am
go.
on this MJF
there you go,
train.
Two Beer.
Oh, he's got the balls you didn't have.
Help me out. You got them balls.
I'm going MJF.
Oh, he's going MJF. Love it.
There you go.
Love it.
There you go.
Vice also applauding over here in St. Charles. Vice is applauding Zach's balls. He can't even hear. He just hears our reactions to it.
We're
like,
should.
oh yeah, oh here we go, oh yeah.
Applaud, the fact that MJF is doing some of the best work in his career. If he wins this,
dude's 25. Yeah, it better be the best in his career.
If he wins this and piggybacks it and wins the,
he's like 26.
He's not. He's not that old.
27.
Stop it.
Okay, and here we go. Page versus Cole.
Okay,
I'm gonna write down my answer right now so so you can see it doesn't change. I'm not gonna look.
I'll watch.
All right, Jason. Jason, you go first.
This is the ultimate 50-50 as far as I'm concerned.
Either way.
You can go either way. It would make sense either way. I'm going to make this short and sweet. I agree with Two Beer that MJF is going to be the next champion, and as long as MJF is going to be the next champion, he should be a face champion. That face champion is going to be Hangman Page.
Cole.
I'm going to take Hangman Page to retain the title in a close match where there's going to be fuckery around.
Oh, you think it'll be a close match?
Yeah, for sure. No question about it.
It's going to be a blowout?
No question about it. This is going to go down to the last
just a couple spears. Zach, who you got?
Yeah, so, I think we look at this through some rose-colored glasses. So kind of just being analytical and being objective. We think about Adam Cole and all of the things that he has done in the past, right? And at the same time, he deserves this title match because he has had a great run, a great singles run. He is obviously a star.
I gotta say, at this point, Zach, I have no idea who you're gonna pick.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Such great writing.
It's like he's an English major, for Christ's sake.
But when you think about the trials and tribulations that Adam Cole has gone through, his biggest opponent has been Orange Cassidy. And The last thing that we saw
he beat.
That he lost.
Let him finish.
I get it that he technically did not lose, but we did see him lose. That was the last thing that we saw, and that was his last great kind of feud, his last big feud. So he has not gone through the ringers of AEW, of all of the amazing talent. He is not quite yet deserving of this championship, even though he's Adam Cole, baby, and he would be a great champion regardless. So Adam Page, this is another notch on the bedpost for Adam Page. He is a fighting champion because his reign essentially culminates with him winning, because the whole story was him trying to win for 2 years. So he's got to take out these contenders to really solidify his reign. And Adam Cole is an amazing contender, but at the end of the day, it's Adam Page.
Okay, so just to be clear, you took Adam Page there, right?
He just said it. He just said it.
So both you guys took Adam
I was
Page.
a little loquacious about it.
I'm taking Adam Cole, baby. I think,
Really?
Yep, I'm taking Adam Cole. Adam Cole is the dude right now. He is the heel champion that that the wrestling world needs. They've been selling little magnets on Rampage and shit. They've been selling all this Adam Cole shit. He is a star.
I almost bought
He's a
an
star.
Adam Page belt buckle. They've got the AEW Championship belt buckles. I'm not a belt buckle guy. I almost spent $70 on that.
Zach didn't have to tell us that he wasn't a belt buckle guy.
I would assume you were not.
I cannot talk about it without crying.
Just for the record here.
Really? You
I
think Adam Cole is going to win this shit? Really?
Yes, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I know it would be surprising, but I think that AEW is into surprise.
It's really surprising. The fact that guys are going to, Moxley, Jericho, other guys that have had a nice little run of matches.
Different company, bro. They own ROH now. Sorry to tell you.
This motherfucker here. This motherfucker here. No, I'm dead ass serious.
All right.
I really think that this is a scenario where if you're going to go long term, Hangman is the guy to do it. You can have Adam Cole lose and then come back. Fuck you. You can have Adam Cole come back and lose and come back and win the title at a later point.
This is banned from ringside.
Hey, we got some birthdays this week. Justin Gabriel is 41. What do you think Justin Gabriel's doing right now?
He is laughing at me getting ready to fucking punch Vice in the fucking face.
I think he's working the fry side at a Mexican place in South Africa. Hanson from War Machine is only 38. That guy is fucking huge.
What?
That guy is huge.
He's 38.
38. Dalton Castle is 36. Val Venus, hello, ladies, is 52. Mr.
Yes.
Kennedy.
Still alive. Still alive. Kennedy.
No, you didn't let me do it. Mr. Kennedy. Kennedy. Thank you. He's 46. He's younger than you.
That sucks, dude.
That's amazing, actually.
No, that is not amazing.
Bruce
Not so
Pritchard.
much.
Bruce Pritchard. 46. He's younger than you too, man.
Jason.
Yeah, that is fucked up.
Hey, two beer. You ain't got to pile on this shit, motherfucker.
59.
Sit your ass down.
Bruce Pritchard is
I'm way
59.
fatter. I'm gonna die before you do anyway.
Flip the burgers.
Come on, Zach. Jesus Christ.
Flip the burgers and shut the fuck up.
Chase Owens is 32. Chase Owens, 32.
Alive and younger than me.
1 year older than Vice. Tyler
Chase
Bate.
Owens is only 32.
Chase Owens is only
We have
32.
like the same disease.
Tyler Bate. That is really funny.
That's amazing. I'm done.
Nobody's listening anymore.
I'm hearing him. That's what the funny part is.
Tyler Bate, who had a Match of the Year candidate 4 years ago.
No.
Guess how old he is?
25.
25.
Yeah.
25. Unbelievable.
I think we completely whiffed on the underrated wrestler of the year. Like, because I forgot about Tyler Bate.
Tyler Bate can't be underrated. He went toe-to-toe against Walter.
Speaking of underrated, Chad Gable, 36. And Rick Steiner, father of Braun Breaker, is 62. Hey, everybody. We know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening
Chad
to
Gable
ours.
can't be underrated for 3 years in a row.
Vice gives out the AK every week. For my wife and my kids who both put up with us.
Check.
For Tinder Mahal. For Grandel Wrestling. Look up Grandel Wrestling STL versus the world. For Sideways in Time. Murray the Murray Man Murray. Patriot Pat. Jason Cornelius Bell.
I'm drunk.
Black Lives Matter. Support your local drug dealers. Support your local restaurants.
All
And
that shit.
I am Bill Vagey. And
Yeah,
never,
he's a
ever,
drunk
ever,
motherfucker.
ever forget to boo the heels.
I'm dead, dude.